decided they would come and learn about more stuff on their free time. I had no idea that when we decided to talk about this opportunity that it would enter or even become this. What's your thoughts on that, Miss Lisa?
Tia was like, we're gonna book a trip, Lisa. I said, what? She's like, I wanna take a trip. I said, okay, where do you wanna go? Can we start in New Orleans? With kids? Plantation, which come to find out is the only plantation that does tours in the lives of slaves. All the other tours are all about the agriculture, the cotton, the actual textile. This is the only plantation that does tours, and the whole plantation that is dedicated to slavery.
Fun but scary fact. Growing up, I'm always exposed to comments like slavery was 400 years ago. Slavery was, let it go. Well, the plantation made it very clear to us that they actually closed its doors in 1975. So just put that in perspective. So I have to ask you guys, what was going there? What was that like?
It was a very dry, on the way there, it was nothing but lands and houses on the left side. And it felt like the houses were, what's that word called? The houses are on the top.
It was cinder blocks under the houses holding the houses up.
Yeah. Yes.
Like raised,
yes.
With cinder blocks underneath.
Yes.
I would have to say the plantation for me really had that interactive experience with it. Being able to, I don't know if there's a picture up there, but there was a jail cell that we were allowed to go into where the slaves were held for punishments or they didn't do labor. And being in there and realizing how hot it was and how scalding it was, and just thinking of being there for 16 hours in a jail cell, it was a upsetting experience, I would say, being in there and realizing the reality of it.
I appreciate that this place didn't really, try to change things up to make it more aesthetically pleasing. I appreciate that it kept a lot of things to its rawest form, and it definitely made it so I could actually, feel things and actually be able to experience it without things being changed.
So I would say the time in the Whitney plantation, it definitely was very eye-opening because during the we had a voice recording. And we kind of went on our own, did our little self-guided tour, and one of the slaves' names were Emmanuel Fulford. So I'm a Fulford, and I'm also Haitian, and I am Sierra Leone, which is a group in West Africa. And then Haitian, we weren't known as Haitians, we were known as Creole people. So the Whitney plantation also followed the Louisiana Purchase, which meant that my people, Sierra Leone and the Creole people, were on the Atlantic ship trade, which dropped us off, took us from our people, our land, and dropped us off to the Whitney plantation, left us there. And they also had a wall where it's Emmanuel Fulford was sold for $1,500. So I think for me it was definitely an eye-opener because I think a lot of people feel that they're descendants of a slave, but to see your name written, it's almost like that's me because that's my last name and that's what I carry on with me through my bloodline and through my strength.
About Mississippi, and when we are in school, I know a lot of schools I don't want to say hinder, but assist with Black History Month, and my breakdown for this is very simple. Black History Month is celebrated in February. There are 28 days in the month. I'm not a calculator, so anybody out there is a calculator, please shout the numbers out. So we have 4 weekends in the month of February, so the kids are not in school for 8 days. We also have the winter break, which is February, so the kids are not in school for 5 days. We also have a president's birthday in February, so the children are not in school for another day. Did anybody keep up with that? Right. So we have 14 days to teach our youth, our future, about American history. Not Black history, but American history. So in those 14 days, we teach our youth about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. Who do you guys know about?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Just shout it out.
Mammy.
Nope, that's something new. You just learned about her. Who did your school teach you about? Is my question. So you know Rosa
I feel
Parks?
like definitely the basics like Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X,
Ruby
Martin Luther
Bridges.
King Jr., Ruby Bridges, the Rock Nine, but they don't really touch. They'll show the story, but they won't really like give us the facts.
Anybody else you guys want to think of? And that was a collective. So we realized that if we really wanted to show them how strong they are, how tough they are, how resilient they are, we had to really dig a little deeper. So we started having them watch movies. The first movie we had them watch was 12 Years a Slave, the Norfolk story, Henry Norfolk, is that right? Yeah. Story, which was shot at the Whitney Plantation. And then the second movie we had them watch, well, I show is the Mamie Tobley story. Mamie Tobley is Emmett Till's mom. And we really wanted to show this story to them, this particular version, because it came from her. Like, this is her version of what happened. And if you guys are not familiar with this story, a young 14-year-old boy went to visit his cousins down south. He was 14, he was from Chicago. He begged to go down south. And his mom had to prepare him to go down south by giving him a talk. And that a talk is now the talk that we give our sons on a daily basis. And one of the things she told him that if you accidentally bump into a white woman or man, drop down on your knees and beg for forgiveness. Get on the sidewalk, kiss the feet, and tell them how incredible they are. It is okay to be embarrassed or humiliated for 10 minutes if it gets you your life. And I remember thinking, I teach my son the very opposite. So I don't know if it'll last it. But I could sympathize as a mom with trying to protect your child. Emmett went down south, and the story, alleged story, is that he whistled at Carol Bryan, a white woman in her grocery store, and then he grabbed her. And then that night, Emmett was snatched out of his bed and beaten and shot and murdered and drowned. His mother Mamie sat at home for a day knowing nothing. They called her, and then they got scared because they were scared that they would get in trouble. And pretty much said something happened to Emmett, but he's probably just lost. They're probably scaring him. So for days, 2 days I believe it was, she sat there waiting for the call. Her first plea to the papers was bring her son home, safe. She had no idea he was murdered. Then when she found out he was murdered, her plea was, just get my son's body home. So we want to kind of take you on that story and let the kids kind of tell you what it was like. Every time we talk about Mamie Tobley, as a mom, I just think about my own son and the strength and courage that she had that I don't know. In 2024, I would have that strength and I would have that courage. Before
I would have to agree with what you said. In the moment, I was more worried about the snakes, because Mr. J had said there were snakes in the ground, and then they were going to come up and get us.
Mr. J for that.
And there was like all these bugs, so I did appreciate the sight, and in the moment, I was more worried about like the bugs. And then looking back at the picture, be like, wow, we were really there where they pulled up his body, so it definitely was a significant moment for me at least.
I wasn't able to enjoy this view because I was too worried about the snakes that was coming up out the ground. I didn't care about nothing else except for about the snakes that was getting on me. So when they were looking at the lake, I ran to the bus with my crew because I don't even play with snakes like that. So, but it was very touching, man.
So I fell in love so deeply with the South that it made me want to, after I finished college and get on my own feet, like I would want to move down there for years and really just kind of help rebuild the community, because this just definitely made me feel like they need me. They need someone like me that looks like me, because they need someone to still tell their story. Because in my eyes, I don't feel like the town is asleep. I feel like the town's mourning, healing, hurting, and I feel like they lost, in their eyes, I feel like they felt like they lost the fight. But it was like the fight continued to just not continue here, and I want to bring it back to where it started from. So that's my intake, what I took from
could see a mom. They both were having like fun with their daughter, kind of, but it was like kind of in like a little box, I would say. So as they're having fun or whatever, I guess they hear like I don't know. I guess they hear like I don't know the name for it, but I guess they hear that, and then they have to, like, the dad shoves his mouth over the kid's mouth, and the kid's just looking confused. So then after the fact, you see the man taking the kid away from the mom and the dad, and all you have to do is just picture yourself in there. Like, the kid is confused. Like, the kid doesn't know what's about to go on. You don't know if they're going to see their mother or father again. So the kid is just crying for their mom, their father. The mom is crying, and the dad is crying, but they can't do anything because that's how life was back then. So.
Ask each person daily. For me, myself, I tend to think that, you know, I'm invincible, I can handle it. In my mind, embedded in my body, I cannot cry because that's a sign of weakness. I have to be a perfectionist. I have to work hard, think harder, because I know that if I'm not the smartest person in the room, if I'm not the happiest person in the room, if I'm not smiling, I might be an angry black woman. If I'm not smart enough, I might miss an opportunity. If I don't look the part, then I'm not going to think I'm good enough. I carry all of these badges on me every single day. My trauma runs deep. I didn't know until a couple of years ago that other people that don't look like me seen that in me and just wanted me to know that you do not have to carry that alone. In fact, you don't have to carry that at all. Let me show you something. Let me guide you. Let me help you. Let me support you. I'm asking you guys to take apart, take a look, and see what trauma looks like. So what you're gonna see is a live opportunity of what trauma looks like. You're gonna see everybody pour in this vessel, this human body, their trauma. And then we're gonna collectively flush that right out in front of you.
I'm tired of my skin complexion being a problem in my everyday life.
She's tired of her skin complexion being a problem in her everyday life.
I'm tired of being scared to not be able to grow up. Yeah.
He's tired of being scared of not being able to grow up.
I'm tired of being tired, and I'm tired of being more than my stereotype. I just want to be me.
She just wants to be herself.
I'm tired of my history not being taught in schools.
She's tired of her history, not being taught in schools.
I'm tired of being sexualized.
She is tired of being sexualized.
I'm tired of having to talk that I must modify myself to fit others and make them more comfortable, to soften my voice, to calm my own self.
She said a whole lot, so I'm just gonna break it down. She's tired of being told to watch her tone. She's tired of having to shrink so other people can feel empowered.
I want you all to know that you are all smart. You are all courageous. You are all role models. You are This trip was phenomenal. I feel so blessed to have been a part of it with you guys, and I can't wait for next year.
I'm like, I thought I had to say that. Thank you. I want you to know that, Jamia, you are beautiful, and I'm sorry that you have to experience that. I want DeAndre to know that you're gonna grow up to be one of the best young men I know because that's why we gave you the name Mr. Incredible. Lexi, I want you to know that your mother has a tone to it, and I promise you will grow into it. Honestly, I want you to know that you are beautiful, and the blacker your skin is, the more powerful you are. You are a queen. Hold on, I'm running out of words, so I gotta get more. Gianna, I want you to know that we're working really hard to make sure that history is taught in school. So everybody's history is on in our history books and also in our minds and hearts. And for Gigi, everyone in this room wants you to be you. We look at you all, we love you all, we want to see you all win. And guys, I might be running out of water up here, but you guys get the drift of what is happening. Is it turning red? I don't know. We ran out of water. But if we had enough water, what would happen?